gentlemen, kids of all ages, welcome to the Verb Circus, the Vaughn radio program where we'll review the most important verbs in English in a fun and challenging way. Be sure to pay attention because you'll be tested on your understanding throughout the program. Let the show begin. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me once again on another episode of the Verb Circus. My name is Kyle Miller, and I'm joined in the studio by a good friend of mine who is going to come on to talk about today's verb. And my friend is Nitzia. Nitzia, welcome to the show.
Hi.
And Nitzia Velasco, right?
Yes.
Nitzia Velasco, right. Well, as always, Nitzia, I don't want to waste any time before we start the program and start talking about today's verb. So as the special guest today, I'll let you do the honors of spinning the verb wheel.
Wow.
Okay?
It's awesome.
Yeah, and as you can see, it's pretty big. It's pretty big and it's heavy. So, put all your power into it and give it a good spin. Are you ready?
Okay, yeah, I'm ready to spinning the wheel.
Okay.
Let's go.
Give it a good spin there. Okay. Oh, well done. Very interesting. Now, it says on the wheel, nacer. But that's not even English, is it?
No, it's not.
How do we say that in English? Nobody wants to learn Spanish verbs on this show. So how do we say that in English?
To born.
We say to be born.
To be born.
Right. And this is why we've included this on the verb wheel, because I hear my students all the time saying, I born. Ooh, I get a headache when I hear that, Nitzia. I get a headache. It bothers me. So what we have to say in English is to be born. I was born. And it's very convenient that you're on the show with me today, because you were born somewhere other than Spain. Where were you born?
I was born in Mexico.
You were born in Mexico. You were born in Mexico. Good.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know where I was born?
In Canada.
Exactly. I was born in Canada. That's right. I was born in Canada, and you were born in Mexico. So you weren't born in Spain. But how long have you lived in Spain?
I have lived in Spain for 3 years.
Oh, for 3 years. Okay. Now, were you born in Mexico City?
No, I was born in Tampico, which is in the west.
The northwest?
The northeast.
The northeast.
East.
The northeast of Mexico.
Mexico.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you lots of questions about that. I'm curious about where you were born and when you're born. So I'm going to ask you all kinds of questions about that a little bit later. But let's talk a little bit about this verb and how it's conjugated before we start asking too many questions. All right?
Okay.
Okay. So on its own, born is not a verb. We always say to be born. Okay? But it is good to know how this can behave as a simple adjective, to be brought forth by birth, as in, or possessing some qualities from birth. Like we can say, John Lennon was a born musician, right? Einstein was a born genius, in the sense that he naturally had these abilities, and once he took advantage of these natural abilities, you say nato, right?
Yes.
Exactly. You say nato. So we say he was a born genius. It was natural for him to have that intelligence. And for John Lennon, I suppose it was natural for him to become a musician, right?
Right.
Do you think Elvis was a born entertainer?
No.
So if he wasn't a born entertainer, then he acquired those skills by practicing and so on.
He became an entertainer.
Okay, all right. But we will focus on to be born here, to be born. Springsteen, everyone in Spain loves Bruce Springsteen. Not, by the way, not Bruce Springsteen, but Bruce Springsteen, right?
Right.
Right? When he comes to Madrid, he plays at the big stadiums. He plays at the Calderón, or the big stadium in Madrid. And Bruce Springsteen was born to run. According to his song from 1980, 82 or something. He was born in the USA. Did you know that? Did you know that Bruce Springsteen was born in the USA?
Yes.
Born in the USA. That's what the song tells us, at least. So Einstein, I have one more thing to say about Einstein. He was born, well, ask me when Einstein was born.
When Einstein
When
was Einstein born?
When was Einstein born? Right, when was Einstein born? Well, he was born on March 14th, 1879. That's when he was born. Okay, so let's look at the conjugation of the verb. Well, really, it's the verb to be. So we would say, every day, children are born. Yesterday, many children were born. Lately, many children have been born. Now, there's a little pronunciation note here, Nitzia,
Okay.
which is the pronunciation of this N, born. Born.
Born.
So we don't close our lips, right?
Right.
So can you say David Beckham was born in 1975? Can you say that?
Yes. David Beckham was born in 1975.
1975.
1975.
Yeah, very good. Beckham. Because in Spain, everybody calls him Beckham. And they forget to close their mouth with the letter M. Right?
Right.
Do they do that in Mexico also?
No. It's David Beckham.
Ah, good. As it should be. Because in Spanish, this is interesting. In Spanish, there are no words that end in the letter M, except for words that come from a Latin origin, like memorandum and these words. But in real Castellano, you don't have words that end in M. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe some listener is going to send me an email and say, Kyle, you're wrong. But more or less, we don't really have words that end in M. So Spanish people, by default, tend to pronounce this as if it were an N. So they have difficulty when they have a sentence like, I'm in my mother's memory. Can you say that?
I'm in my mother's memory.
I'm in my mother's memory. Yes. Mary's mother married a Mexican man. That's a good one.
Mary's mother married a Mexican man.
Yes. Did your mother marry a Mexican man?
Yes, my mother is Mexican. My father too.
Right. So your mother married a Mexican man.
Yes.
Okay.
She did.
My mother did not marry a Mexican man. My mother married a Canadian man. Do you know? Okay, let's get back to the idea of to be born here. Do you know when the baby boom was?
No.
Do you know what the baby boom is?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
It's there's a generation. There are like 30 now.
Yeah.
There were a lot of babies.
Exactly. Primarily in North America. Right? I think. Primarily in North America because basically these soldiers went off to the Second World War and then they came back, and when they came back, they decided it was a good time to start a family, right?
Right.
So there were a lot of babies born, basically from 1946 to 1964, after the Second World War. And almost 80 million Americans were born in that period. Did you know that?
That's a lot.
That's a lot of Americans. And then we also have what we call the echo boom generation. So the boom, with this boom, and then the echo, right? The echo, 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 echo.
Yeah.
So it's basically the children of the baby boomers. I'm a member of the echo boom generation. So are you. Born from the late 70s or the 80s, or the start of 1980 to the mid 90s, let's say. The echo boom generation. That's what they call it. So you were born in Mexico. Where were you born again exactly?
In Tampico. I was born in Tampico.
And that is in the east of Mexico.
Yes, in the northeast.
Were you born in a big city or a small town?
Well, it's a medium city.
A medium-sized city.
A medium-sized city.
Okay. Were you born in a hospital?
No.
No.
No, I didn't. I was born in my...
Were you? No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. Because it's the verb to be, not, right? You can't say didn't. You say, no, I wasn't. Were you?
No, I wasn't.
Oh. Were you born, let me guess here, were you born in a clinic?
No.
Were you born in a home?
Yes, I was.
Oh, where were you born exactly?
I was born in my grandmother's couch.
On her couch?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. And is that very common?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Okay. Wow, very interesting. So, okay. How old was your mother when you were born?
My mother was 24 when I was born.
Mm-hmm. How old was your father when you were born?
My father was the same age as my mother when I was born.
Hmm. Translation Challenge. So here we have the Translation Challenge. So what we're going to do, as always, well, actually not as always, because today we have a special guest, Nitzia, who's going to read the sentences in Spanish, and then I'm going to read the English, because I have a feeling that your Spanish is better than mine.
Maybe.
I think so.
Maybe.
So, yes, this is in fact the Translation Challenge, and Nitzia will read the Spanish. So at home, follow along. Try to get 10 out of 10 correct this, okay? Listeners, you have to be honest with yourself here and keep track, right?
Right.
Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead with number 1.
Okay. Number 1. Nací en junio.
I was born in June. I was born in June. That's true.
Number 2. Nací el 23 de junio.
I was born on the 23rd of June. So notice how we use the preposition on. I was born in June, but on the 23rd of June.
Nací por la noche.
I was born at night. It's true. I was born at night.
Nacieron en Boston.
They were born in Boston. They were born in Boston.
Nacerá el mes que viene.
He'll be born next month. Next month.
Elvis nació en 1935.
Elvis was born in 1935. Number 7.
Nació para ser animador.
He was born to be an entertainer. He was born to be an entertainer. And like we said before, we could also say he was a born entertainer. In that case, I suppose it would be nato, right?
Right.
But very similar. He was born to be an entertainer. Number 8.
No nació donde pensaron que nació.
He wasn't born where they thought he was born.
Pensé que tu hermana había nacido antes que tú.
I I thought your sister was born before you were. I thought your sister was born before you were. And finally, number 10.
Los gemelos nacieron con 8 minutos de diferencia.
The twins were born within 8 minutes of each other. Within 8 minutes of each other. And that's true. Sometimes one child is born and then it takes time. It must be difficult for the mother, wouldn't it be? Imagine if you have one child born and you're waiting for the second one.
I don't want even imagine that.
Yeah, and because it's such an incredible accomplishment to give birth to a child. But imagine you give birth to one and then, there's another one, and it couldn't go on for a long time, right? Okay. Okay, well, how did you do at home? Did you get 10 out of 10 correct? I hope you did. How do you think our listeners did? I think our listeners are pretty good. How do you think they did? Do you think they got all 10?
They must be the best.
They must be the best. Yeah, they should. Well, they study hard. A lot of people write in. They email me and they say, Kyle, I got 9 out of 10. I got 10 out of 10. People are writing in because they want to, they like these challenges, right?
Yeah.
Sure. So, anyhow, I hope they got 10 out of 10 right. Let's move on here, and I'd like you to ask me some questions, Nitzia.
Great.
So first, ask me if I was born in Spain.
You were born in Spain?
Were you?
Were you
born in Spain?
Were you born in Spain?
No, I wasn't. Ask me where I was born.
Where were you born?
I was born in Canada. Now, the biggest city in Canada is Toronto. Ask me if I was born in Toronto.
Were you born in Toronto?
Were you born in Toronto?
Oh.
Repeat.
Were you born in Toronto?
One more time.
Were you born in Toronto?
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't born in Toronto. Now, Canada has 10 provinces. 10 provinces. Ask me which province I was born in.
Which province were you born in?
Province. Which province?
Which province were you born in?
Good. I was born in Nova Scotia, which is a very small province on the east coast, on the Atlantic coast. And the capital city of Nova Scotia is called Halifax. Halifax. Okay? Halifax, right. So ask me if I was born in Halifax.
Were you born in Halifax?
Repeat.
Were you born in Halifax?
Were you born in Halifax? Again.
Were you born in Halifax?
No, I wasn't. I was born in a small town. Ask me which town I was born in.
Which town were you born in?
I was born in a small town called Digby. Digby. Yeah, Digby. It's true. I was born in Digby. Ask me if I was born on the mountain or in the valley. Be careful with the prepositions here. Ask me if I was born on the mountain or in the valley.
Okay. Were you born on the mountain or in the valley?
Right. I was born in the valley. Okay. So ask me if I was born in the Valley Hospital.
Were you born in the Valley Hospital?
No, I wasn't. Ask me which hospital I was born in.
Which hospital were you born in?
I was born in the Digby General Hospital. This is true. Ask me if I was born on the first floor. Now, notice how we're using the preposition on the floor, on the first floor. Ask me if I was born on the first floor.
Were you born on the first floor?
No, I wasn't. Ask me which floor I was born on.
Which floor were you born on?
Repeat.
Which floor were you born on?
Right. Which floor were you born on? I was born on the 3rd floor. Ask me if I was born in room 301.
Were you born in room 301?
Perfect. Were you born in room 301? No, I wasn't. Ask me which room I was born in.
Which room were you born in?
I was born in room 305. I was born in room 305. Yeah. Well, there you go. Now you know. Now you and everyone else knows the story of my birth. It was a very important moment for me, right?
Right. For you and your mother.
For me, exactly. For me and my father, too. It was a very important moment, so I had to remember all these details. Anyhow, let's move on. Let's move on to our next challenge, which, of course, is the interrogative challenge.
Interrogative challenge.
Okay, time now for the interrogative challenge. We're just going to do 5 today. 5 sentences of the interrogative challenge. I will give the answer to a question, and Nitsia, my special guest today, will ask me the question that I've answered. Are you ready, Nitsia?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Completely sure.
Fantastic.
I'm happy to be
Fantastic.
ready.
Fantastic. Good. Okay. So my number one is Mark and Anna's baby was born on Monday afternoon.
When was Mark and Anna baby born?
Yes. Now we need the Saxon genitive there. Where was Mark and Anna? Sorry, when? When was Mark and Anna's baby born? When was Mark and Anna's baby born? Good. Okay. Number 2. I was born in Canada.
What country were you born in?
Nice. What country were you born in? Very good. Number 3. I was born in 1980.
What year were you born in?
Good. What year were you born in? Number 4. I was born on June 23rd.
When were you born?
When were you born? You could also say, Kyle, what's your birthday?
Oh.
What's your birthday? Well, I was born on June 23rd. But then I would say, if you said, Kyle, what's your birthday? Or when is your birthday? Really, when is your birthday? Sometimes you say, what's your birthday? But, Kyle, when is your birthday? I'd say, well, my birthday is June 23rd. So when were you born? I was born on June 23rd. Okay, and number 5, I was born in Digby, Canada.
Where were you born?
Where were you born? Right, that's the question. Where were you born? Very simple, right?
Right.
Not so hard. Where were you born? Very good. So now, unfortunately, Nitsia, we're out of time.
Oh, so sad.
So sad is right. They say time flies when you're having fun, right?
Right.
And we have been having a good time. We have been having a very good time here today, but we have to go. But before we do, I want to leave you with one more thing, which is the expression of the day.
Expression of the day.
The expression of the day today is, I wasn't born yesterday. I wasn't born yesterday. What do you think this means, Nitsia? I wasn't born yesterday.
No idea.
If someone thinks that they can take advantage of you and trick you, you're saying, hey, I'm intelligent. I wasn't born yesterday. Do you think I was born yesterday? I'm not that naive, right? I'm not so naive. I wasn't born yesterday. right? I know better. You can't trick me because I wasn't born yesterday. Well, we're totally out of time. But before we go, I want to thank you, Nitsia, for joining me on the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kyle, for inviting me.
Well, it's been great to have you, and you're welcome back anytime. So it's time to sign off, and I'll say goodbye to all the listeners. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again next time on the Verb Circus. Thank you. Bye-bye.